In a previous Cool Tool video, I showed you how to use Google Alerts, how to set up Google Alerts so that you can track certain keywords and phrases. And I used Google Reader to bring all my Google Alerts into one place, but I haven't actually shown Google Reader. And in this video, I'd like to show you how cool Google Reader is and show you some of the basics. Google has so many tools that you can use online, and I'm sure that there are more that I'm going to feature in the future. When you're logged in onto your Google account, if you go to this More button and scroll down, you'll find Reader just down here. Click on that. That takes you to your Google Reader. And as you can see, the alerts that I had set up are down here, and it's showing all items 5. So there's 5 items for me to deal with. In fact, if you look up here as well, you can see 5 items to deal with. And if I click on SWBN, you can see any that are related to SWBN being found online. And actually what you might see is this, because that's how Google usually shows it, I believe, in the default, the expanded view. And I prefer, though, to see everything as a list view. So you just click list. So you get a really good overview of what's come in. And if anything interests you, you can just click on it. So I've got a couple of Twitter things here. I've got one actually that's not my SWBN, our SWBN, but a different women's business network, which is quite interesting to see. Similarly, Google Alerts for Women's Business Network, I've put it into list view. And so I can just scan through quickly and see if anything interesting crops up. Lots of it won't be interesting, particularly as I've realised that I've set it up as Women's Business Network, the broad match, which means that it's looking for anything with the words women's, business and network in, whereas I really want to make that the phrase match. So I'll have to go back into Google Alerts and make sure we search just for that phrase on its own. But once I've looked through, if I don't see anything I'm interested in, or I check a few that I am interested in, so for example, if I was interested in that, wanted to go to see the site itself, I just click on Community Calendar. But I'm not interested, so I'm just going to mark all as read. So I've shown you how to look in list view. Another thing you want to do is add some subscriptions. So as you find websites, blogs, forums, Twitter feeds that you particularly want to keep an eye on a regular basis, then you want to add it as a subscription. There's 2 ways of doing that. Click on the add subscription. If you know the name of the blog, so let's say I was going to add conversation marketing to my reader, you just add it to that box, click add, and I've subscribed to conversation marketing, internet marketing with a twist of lemon, and it's popped it down here into my subscriptions. Or the other way of doing it is going to a website. For example, I like to read thepioneerwoman.com. I've absolutely nothing in common with her, but I just find that Ree Drummond is a great writer, love her pictures, love what she does. And I want to subscribe to this, but actually something that is offered on this website is there are different sections. There's confessions, cooking, photography, home and garden, homeschooling. I particularly like the confessions. I like the stories she tells and I find them amusing. Not so interested in the cooking and home and garden. If you'd seen my house, you'd know why. So instead, I'm just going to go up here and click to subscribe on this button here, which you should see somewhere in your browser. And it's going to let me subscribe just to the confessions part of her website. Now this is useful as well if, say, you're in a forum and there's a forum thread you want to keep track of because people keep adding really great information. Most forums will let you subscribe to just that forum thread. So we're going to click on that. It's going to ask us where I want to subscribe, so it gives me a few choices and you can add other choices, but my reader is Google Reader, so I'm going to click subscribe now. And there we just need to click again subscribe, and it has subscribed me to that particular feed on the Pioneer Woman website. Now, as I'm browsing through these, if I particularly like something, I can read the article in my browser, in my reader rather. I can go to the website and read it, as I showed you by clicking on this. Some websites don't allow the whole feed to go into your reader. They'll just give you a snippet and expect you to go to the website to read it. That's because they want to control a little bit more the potential options that you might have. They want you to see their advertising, they want you to click on their links, which is fine, but unfortunately a lot of people now don't actually read or catch up with their reader in a typical browser like this on a computer. They might do it on a handheld device or on a smartphone, so the option of going to other web pages may be awkward for them because you've then got to open another tab, you've got to wait for it to upload, and it depends how quick your connection is. So I'm always quite happy to let people just view within their RSS reader my whole blog. But I might put options at the bottom. I do use a couple of things where you might put options to tell them if you like this, you might like something else. And there's plugins for that. But anyway, if you do like something, you can share it, star it, like it, do all sorts of things. And what this does is it helps you keep track of stuff you really like, but also means you can share it with others who might be following you, which I shall show you in a moment. So for example, if we click share with a note, I could add a note, add a tag if I wanted, and post the item, and anybody who's following me would see that. So let's take a look at the people I follow. There's only me, I follow myself, my other account, and JP as well. So we're going to look for some more people to follow. And what we do is click on people you follow, go into the sharing settings. You've got a number of options here. So my shared items are public to anybody, or I can protect those just for certain people. I want to find somebody. Now you can search by name. You can also search location, occupation, interest. It takes quite a while to do it that way, and I've had a few bugs there. So I'm going to search by email address, and particularly if you've got a Gmail address for somebody's account. I'll take that comma out. It doesn't like the comma. It automatically gives you the option of following them. So we're going to click follow, and that happens to be when it appears over on the left, hopefully. People I follow. Ah, it's not done it. Let's try that again. Is that why? Did I add the wrong person? Let's try that. Follow. Aha, there she is. And that's Alison Reynolds, who doesn't share much on, or hasn't shared much on Google Reader for a while. But of course, you're very dependent on people actually using Google Reader as their reader. Not everybody does. So if you find a few people who have similar interests to you and whose opinions you respect, and they use Google Reader as well, it means that if they find something great and share it, then you can just go and see what they're looking at without having to either search the internet for things, or you'll be able to see stuff that maybe you never would have found before. That's how you get to find new people to follow. The final thing I'm going to show you is down here. As you add more and more subscriptions, this is going to get to be a longer and longer list. So what you can do is add folders, and I've done that here for my alerts. I've created a folder called alerts. So let's do it for here. Conversation marketing. We're going to go to feed settings, and I can either put it in the folder that's alerts, or I can create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder and call it business stuff. And click OK. And that's automatically put it in business stuff. I'm going to go to Confessions of a Pioneer Woman. Now I could choose to put that in business stuff. I could choose to put it in alerts just by clicking one of those buttons. I'm going to make a new folder and call it fun stuff, because that's what I consider her stories to be. Lots of fun. Click OK, and it's created a folder with fun stuff. And every time you create an alert, you can put it into one of your pre-existing folders, or just create a new folder for it. So that's the basics of Google Reader. I hope that's made it a little bit easier for you. And of course, if you do have things like iPads, iPhones, or an Android phone, there are apps available now so you can actually get your Google Reader straight to that device in a readable format, so you can use this across different platforms. So go along. If you haven't used Google Reader before, I hope that now brings everything you want to read or see on a daily or weekly basis all into one place, and then when you're ready to sit down with a cup of coffee and flick through the things that you've subscribed to, they're all in one place and you don't have to go searching around the internet. Don't forget, if you want to take a look at some of our previous cool tools, including the Google Alerts video, then head over to swbnetwork.com/blog. And don't forget, add us to your reader. Go to Secret Women's Business Network, click on subscribe, click subscribe now, and add us to your reader. As simple as that.